Coming to you live across the world, wherever you find yourself. Welcome to News Today with me, Zac Sherman. Stories in the headlines. Collaborating political parties petitions the Supreme Court of Liberia for writ of mandament against NEC. Senate Committee on Foreign Affairs investigates allegation of sexual harassment against Ambassador D. Masua Kemia. Ministry of Education denies report on abandoning Liberian students studying in China. Those plus more are packaged for you on this presentation when we shall have returned. Thanks for joining us on our news today. The collaborating political parties, through their legal representation, Councillor Fini Y. Kanga, today petitioned the Supreme Court. The CPP is asking for a writ of mandament against the National Elections Commission (NEC). But prior to the filing of the petition, drama today issued between partisans of the CPP and officers of the Liberian National Police. KMTV's Anthony Kokwe reports.
We are going to the place and ask for our passport. Not yet.
This follows after members of the opposition collaborating political parties are assembled at the headquarters of the Liberty Party to eventually march to the Supreme Court of Liberia on Friday to file a petition for a writ of prohibition calling for an immediate halt and cancellation of the voters' roll update exercise. But things did not go on as planned, as partisans of the CPP early Friday morning met up with resistance from officers of the Liberian National Police.
Like, I don't see why it's happening here because I'm so surprised when I saw police, because I was going to be here this morning, but I decided to go back, living in and like, but when I went online, I saw police beating people. I was like, wow. Because we will not give a riot.
Many of these serving in the presence of the president, but your responsibility is to protect us. So you are coming here, we don't want to play with the peace and security of this country. You are here to protect us. We are not here to cause any chaos. We are not here to cause any harm. We are not here to cause any trouble. Or we will defend ourselves. Because Moba Malu said, and I called Moba Malu, you can get hard before you talk. I want to tell you here today, no matter the situation of person, where you live at the rock, all of the property you accumulated when you became president will take it from you. Our property.
CPP has maintained that the voters' roll update exercise is fraudulent and has therefore taken the immediate action by filing a petition to the Supreme Court of Liberia calling for the cancellation of the exercise until the issues that bordered on the credibility of the elections are fully addressed.
We're asking the court to halt and cancel the fraudulent voter registration process so that we can have a free, fair, and transparent election. We do not believe the current process will lead to that. We also are disappointed in what happened here today at the Liberty Party office, when the police stopped the free assembly of citizens of this country. So I speak on behalf of all of my colleagues that we are committed to the law and order, but we also want to ensure that our elections are free and fair, and this government should know that we will not sit supinely and let them fraudulently not let the Liberian people have their voice to this election.
Until the Supreme Court can review and eventually decide whether to grant or deny the petition filed by the opposition collaborating political parties, the National Elections Commission has continued with its electoral calendar as the voters' roll update on Friday came to an end. Anthony Kokwe, KMTV News, Monrovia.
You tell the government of Liberia to stop barricading the headquarters of Liberty Party.
The Ministry of Education has clarified a Wednesday September 23, 2020 front page Africa report linking the Chinese embassy in Monrovia are reportedly facilitating the abandonment and subsequent return of 11 Liberian students who are studying in China. The ministry said the information is false and has therefore reached an agreement with the Liberian embassy in China to have the students' days be extended for additional 2 months.
Liberian ambassador in China was the one who called me to raise a red flag that we are unlikely to get an extension of the students' visa beyond September 28th. And if they were not out of that country, then there would be challenges. They could either detain them or they will fine them some 10,000 RMB a day for any extra day they remain in that country. That's the understanding. And I don't blame that government for that because that's their policy. It is that policy that we have the MOU or when we send the students. So when I went to Capital, the issue was raised. I made reference to the Liberian ambassador in China, not the Chinese ambassador in Liberia. No, I didn't even make reference to that. We were hoping that we will get to the Chinese embassy here to help request for an extension of the students.
The Environmental Protection Agency has shut down SSS Beverage Company due to violations of the Environmental Protection Management Laws of Liberia. According to EPA Acting Executive Director Rana Dopai, the company has consistently refused to adhere to the mandate and regulation on environmental protocols.
Violation by grossly refusing to pay a fine that we imposed on them several months ago. We imposed a fine of 1,000 USD on them as an initial deterrent measure, but they have also refused to this point to pay the fine in government revenue. They also refused to disclose the name of their raw material supplier because as a beverage production company, you use very raw material. So when they look at the specification of those raw material, who are the source, they refuse to disclose the name of that raw material supplier. That too is a violation of Section 95 of the Environmental Protection Management Laws of Liberia. So fellow Liberians, ladies and gentlemen of the press, against this background, the agency today hereby issues this shutdown order for the operation of alcoholic beverages of SS Private Limited located in Broadville, VOA, Perry Town, Mosrada County, Liberia. Now, SS Private Limited is further warned that this shutdown order shall remain in force until it is proven beyond all reasonable doubt that their new sustainable production plan is submitted to the agency, is reviewed and approved. This shutdown order begins as of the date that they will receive the communication we've already sent to them. We also like to warn that they shall not use their current facility for which this shutdown order is in place to conduct any operation pertinent to production of alcoholic or non-alcoholic beverages. And before I conclude, let me just say that initially this company told us they were producing just non-alcoholic beverages. When they do assessment, we realize that they have lied to the agency. So against this background today, fellow Liberians and members of the press, that we have concluded as an agency to close down this company until they are ready to come in compliance with the Environmental Protection and Management Laws of Liberia.
Let's now go to Maryland, where the Harper Port manager William Wallace has outlined several improvements being made at the port since his ascendancy as manager. Manager Wallace named the renovation of the port administrative building, which hold several offices at the port, the importation of basic commodities, and the building of a petroleum site at the port as improvements currently ongoing. As KMTV Brian Diol reports, the port is now being used to commercially transport goods to Maryland County.
Unlike in the past, where the port of Harper was seen as a ghost camp by citizens of Maryland and others who wanted to use the port for transportation. The new leadership of the port seems to be a productive one. Residents of the county and the southeastern region at large can now boast of a perfect transportation system at the Harper Port, as the southeastern road remain difficult to access due to its deplorable condition. William Wallace, manager of the port, recounted numerous efforts being made at the port so far.
Onset, we talked about the port, as we said last time, with only cashiers and one employee in the port of Harper. We had 13 cashiers and one employee. But from this government intervention and then from the government administration, from our operations, the port of Harper today, we have about 22 employees with 20 contractors. So that's a huge progress or huge achievement in terms of developing the citizens and providing jobs opportunity for them. But since the government took over, we have the Chinese vessel that called Nico Ivanka, and that almost comes to the port of Harper every week. And the vessel have been very much helpful to the people of Maryland County and to the region. As you are aware, during every rainy season, the surface is cut off, as we are experiencing now. And then at such time, there is no petroleum in Harper, there is no rest on the market. All the local commodities are scarce, and people go to the Ivory Coast and to fetch food and other things. But since the inception of this government and we took over the port of Harper, Harper Port have been filling in the gap and through the local boat we have, Nico Ivanka, by making sure that our local commodities are always available. Even during the entire heat of the COVID-19 pandemic, Harper Port was there to make sure that when no car could come to Maryland County, when nobody could move, but the vessel was moving through the authority of the National Port Authority and the central government, that will always have food in Maryland County.
Revenue generation remains another challenge at the port, as there is only one conventional driving point at the port.
We got a lot of infrastructure challenges here, but when the port is dredged, when the draft is extended and to at least 7.5 or 8 meters, and to enable international vessels to come to the port of Harper, when that happens, it means all the other things we're talking about here will come. Because when we receive international vessel, the vessel will come. When we receive international vessel, people will come, they want to build warehouses, people will come, want to do grocery business, people will come, they say they want other places. So our major challenge that we want to be addressed is the dredging of the port of Harper.
The port is situated on a 9.2 acres of land, 150 meter breakwater, 5.5 high tide, 4-degree latitude and 22 feet wide. More business transactions could begin flowing in at the Harper seaport, but it's all based on how soon the Harper Port will be dredged for berthing of bigger vessels to adequately serve southeasterners and allow more investors. From the seashore of Maryland in Quepamus, Maryland County, I'm Brian Dio for KMTV News.
Our Southeastern correspondent Brian Dio with that report. Well, folks, if you're just joining us, this is a reminder that you are watching News Today on KMTV with me, Zac Sherman. Stories still to come. Senate Committee on Foreign Affairs investigates allegation of sexual harassment against Ambassador D. Marcia Kemia. We'll take up more for you right after this short break. Thanks for staying with us. The Liberian Senate Committee on Foreign Affairs is currently investigating allegations of sexual harassment levied against Foreign Affairs Minister Designate D. Marcia Kemia. Ambassador Kemia today appeared for the second time at the Senate for confirmation, but the allegation of sexual harassment is now serving as a pediment to his confirmation. KMTV's follow, and here is a report. For the second time of appearance at the Liberian Senate to be confirmed as Minister of Foreign Affairs, Ambassador D. Marcia Kemia has not met his expectation. This is as the result of sexual harassment allegation levied against the Foreign Affairs Minister Designate, who has just served 2 years in office as Liberia Permanent Representative to the UN. His confirmation which is currently being conducted by the Senate Committee on Foreign Affairs, chaired by Maryland County Senator H. Dan Marias, now enters into investigation as senators raise concerns.
I would suggest that we again bring this hearing to a halt, since we have all of these communications, since we have all of these informations, since the Minister of Destiny has also admitted that there's a CC copy of such an allegation at the Foreign Ministry. And even though this Senate cannot render any verdict, guilty or not guilty, but in that case, there has to be something documented to prove that the Minister of Destiny is not guilty of that offense before he can be confirmed. So I will recommend that we don't go any further in the absence of all of those.
The Foreign Affairs Minister designate, however, denies allegation of sexual harassment. According to him, abuse of women's rights has never been his portion. Ambassador Kemia, at the same time, vowed to make a progressive change at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs if confirmed by the Senate. Now shows a proper scrutiny at the passport section of the ministry to regain the lost trust at the ministry.
We intend to look at the issue of passport very, very serious. As a matter of fact, I see the issue of passport, of which I'm of the strongest conviction, has national and global security implications. So we intend to tackle that issue with the support and vision of His Excellency President Weah. We will reach out to our partners as it relates to technical support and assistance, so that we work together collaboratively to see how we tackle the issue of passports.
After hours of concerns, questions and answers, the Senate Committee Chair on Foreign Relations, H. Dan Marias, says investigation continues as Ambassador Kemia remains posted for questions and inquiries. From the Capitol building, I am Zac Sherman reporting for KMTV News. Still at the Capitol building, Sino County Senator Milton Tiaji has highlighted the need for substantial evidence if Foreign Affairs Minister Designate D. Master Kemia should be denied of the position. His statement, according to him, is backed by the accuser's inability to provide more evidence against Ambassador Kemia. He spoke to legislative reporters at the Capitol building.
I believe, however, that when you make a complaint, you must follow up that complaint. Because when you are complaining about somebody's character, integrity, and what have you, that's your right, and we support that right. But you must also take responsibility for the complaint that you make and follow it up. The document that we have before us from Ms. Cummins has no telephone number, it has no email address. All it says is the permanent mission of Liberia in the United Nations. So it's making it difficult for those of us who are interested in pursuing justice to follow the details of the complaint that the lady has made. And in the absence of all the necessary pieces of information that we need to use to get in touch with Ms. Wani Cummins Wilson, is creating a major bottleneck for us as to how to reach her. And for those who know where she might be, I think it would be a good idea so that she will be able to reach any member of the Liberian Senate, particularly the chairperson on foreign affairs, because what I don't want to see is tomorrow, if Mr. Kimenya is confirmed by the Senate, for someone to come and say, well, I was not given due process, or my complaint was not properly processed.
Let's take you back to Maryland County, where local authorities of the Ministry of Agriculture in Maryland County said they are working to ensure that a rice mill installed through a smallholder agriculture program is up to operate effectively. The rice mill was installed about a year ago but is yet to be used by farmers and residents in Maryland County. KMTV's Maryland County correspondent Brian Deere reports.
As Liberia continues to struggle with the agriculture sector to avoid the importation of some produce, especially Liberia's staple food rice, many international and national NGOs continue to positively contribute to the sector in ensuring the dreams of Liberians are met, especially to eat locally produced food. But it seems that many equipment that are donated to the sector are not being used by farmers or those wanting to invest in the agriculture sector. This is in the case of Maryland County, where the World and African Development Banks, through the Ministry of Agriculture Smallholder Agriculture Productivities Enhancement and Commercialization Program (SAPET), installed a modern rice mill at the Ministry of Agriculture facilities in Maryland County about a year ago. The mill, which produced 8,000 tons of rice per week, is yet to be used by residents of the county since its installation, but efforts are being applied by local agricultural authorities to ensure the use of the mill.
The first thing I would like to say is that this mill was not installed here to be used by the Ministry of Agriculture directly.
Okay.
The mill was installed to be used by the private sector. So the Ministry of Agriculture is encouraging entrepreneurs to bid for this mill and to use it. To have this mill sustainably run, we were able to train about 6 of our locals to be able to run this mill. And besides that, we were able to train 3 artisans, blacksmith in our local words, blacksmith, to be able to fabricate some of the component of the mill. So these guys are here in the county, and whenever we call upon them, they are available to do things on the mill. So, for example, anything happens on the mill, it can be repaired right in the county. We have people with the capacity to repair every component of this mill right in Maryland County because they were trained.
Efforts are not being only made to make the mill useful, but farmers in the county are said to be prepared to supply the mill once the Ministry of Agriculture finds a vendor to run the mill, as the local Ministry of Agriculture has embarked on the distribution of rice seeds to farmers in the county.
So now, the ministry, what we are doing, first of all, we try to have raw materials available for this mill. We produce seeds here at the ministry to supply to farmers in Maryland County. Of recent, we were able to produce around 5 tons of seeds to be given to farmers around the county, and then the ministry has made some level of commitment to purchase these seeds from the farmers.
The abandonment of the rice mill led to some local farmers diverting their focus from rice production to cash crop production.
We, the farmers in Philadelphia, based on our past activities when it comes to production, motivated the Ministry of Agriculture to bring this mill here. But when this mill came, at first we had 37 hectares there that was cultivated with rice. Part of here, and there was no mill. But since this mill came, there is a policy that they must find an entrepreneur that will build for this mill and will control this mill before farmers have access to this mill. Or today we divert to the vegetable production. But by standing, as we listening to the Ministry of Agriculture, a coordinator present here, that they are putting in so all strategies to make sure that this mill start working, I think is a welcoming news for we, the farmers here.
How soon will the Ministry of Agriculture open the modern rice mill facility for effective running, and how prepared are the local farmers are the bigger questions that remain unanswered. KMTV News, Brian Dio, Quepamus.
And of course, entering into the tourism sector, tourism continues to play a major role in the country despite the many challenges that deprive citizens from accessing the naturally designed places, as one of those beauty sites in Maryland County has been inaccessible due to bad road conditions, though it still maintains its beauty. Ahead of World Tourism Day, which is celebrated annually on September 27, KMTV takes a look at the Quepamus Beach.
Tourism, according to the World Tourism Organization, has become one of the major players in international commerce and represents at the same time one of the main income sources for many developing countries. Natural resources remained a strong beautifier of a country, though it is being taken away daily due to the believed definition of development. But Africans, especially Liberians, still use natural resources to add beauty to the land, as the beautiful places in Liberia are yet to be uncovered. The Quepamus Beach, located along the coast of the Atlantic Ocean in Harper, Maryland County, is one of those lovely sites in Liberia. The beach is famous for the lineup of coconut trees that run in parallel position, giving an amazing view to the beach. Unlike other beaches that are usually crowded during weekends and holidays, the Quepamus Beach is usually left empty. The beach is only visited once in a while by visitors who travel in Maryland for the first time, a county that is difficult to reach due to bad road conditions. This unique beach is one of the natural sites in Liberia that should be improved for tourism, but road development remains its major challenge. Though the government prioritizes road construction in the rural settings, the naturally developed places in those areas remain inaccessible as it is with this attractive Quepamus Beach. Angelique Noor, KMTV News, Maryland County.
Well, that, folks, that's all we have for you on this presentation of news today. But before we go, here once again are stories that made the headlines. Collaborating political parties petitions the Supreme Court of Liberia for writ of mandamus against the National Elections Commission. Senate Committee on Foreign Affairs investigates allegation of sexual harassment against Ambassador D. Maxwell Kemenya. Ministry of Education denies report on abandoning Liberian students currently studying in China. I know, folks, we want to say thanks for your viewing pleasure. Do join us during our subsequent new broadcasts. Until then, I am Zac Sherman. Do have yourself a wonderful weekend.
Let's keep on breaking silences with a few